Whether you're coming from a boat or a stand, welcome back to the lodge with your hosts, Matthew Dredska.
Wait, no, that's not what I meant. No, come on, no. Dang.
And Patrick Mudge.
I really don't know what to say that's funny because I'm not a very funny person.
True.
Don't tell me they're gone. I won't have nothing left. Don't tell me you're strong and you got no regrets. If thinking about us, thinking about then, thinking about how it could have been, don't cross your mind. So if you're doing fine, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Back to the Lodge is brought to you by Icy Tech USA.
6:02 p.m. and we are back to the lodge with your host. I'm Patrick Mudge and
Matt Dretzka.
And also behind the board,
Nick Conder.
We are back for another week of Back to the Lodge here on 100.9 The Farm, WEIO in West Tennessee, specifically Huntington. I want to mention that. So here we go, another week. Last week we were definitely bringing the guys from the north down to the south, from Gloucester, Mass, down here to West Tennessee. And this week we went down to the swamps and the bayous and brought up the Gator Man.
Yep.
From Swamp People. And now he's doing the serpent hunting.
Yeah, Guardians of the Glades.
Yeah. Is it that one?
I'm pretty sure. Is it not that one?
I think it's another one.
There's too many.
You have to look it up. Hey, this guy, look, Bruce Mitchell from Swamp People. This guy has been hunting gators his whole life. He's had gator farms, turtle farms, you name it. And then all of a sudden he's down in the Everglades hunting snakes. And it's like, I don't know if you caught the episode. There was an episode, actually I say a few weeks ago. That's when I watched it, was a few weeks ago. And him and his buddy were down there and their swamp buggy broke down. and he's wrangling an 18 or 17 foot green anaconda.
No,
like,
thank you.
Dude, no way. And now here we are, week 3, and he's going to be on the show. How awesome is that?
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm not afraid of snakes, per se. I mean, anything has the ability to scare me.
No, you're afraid of fish.
Hey,
but snakes that are easily 4 or 5 times my height,
that's a garter snake.
I'm out.
Hey, what's that behind you?
Haha.
So it's been a great week, and obviously, we've got a lot going on. This episode, we decided we're going to do some things different. And one of those things is, we gave away some tumblers and stuff in the past. You guys have been absolutely brutal at getting me to do giveaways.
You're welcome.
So
you're welcome.
Thank you for that. We're going to change this up a bit. So we'll still do a couple giveaways. However, this episode, we're going to give away a 120 quart Icy Tech cooler.
That's a big boy.
This one is not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. But we made it a little more challenging too, because obviously the phone line just blew up and we're giving stuff away, and that's great. It's great, but you have to, because we're a new show, it's a newer show and we're getting the word out there. We've had a lot of people tuning in and the metrics have just absolutely gone crazy. So we're grateful for you. If you're sitting at home or in your car, on your boat, and you're listening to the show, hey man, we appreciate you like no tomorrow, and we're going to make that up to you. So if you're following us on social media, and Instagram's great, but it's not great for this. But Facebook, we've got a couple posts on there. One was posted Sunday, I believe it was. Saturday or Sunday. And it talks about today's episode. And it says, hey, if you like and share this post in the page, you're entered to win. But here's the kicker.
Caveat, yep.
That's the caveat. You have to be listening to the live show on Wednesday nights to win the cooler.
When is that live show? Is that live show right now?
It's right now.
We're
6
live?
to 9 p.m.
Oh,
Central
boy.
Time.
Okay.
So there's the caveat. So if you're catching us on the repeat, on the podcast side, you're not going to win. We're grateful you're tuning in. But if you're one of those people that are sitting at home right now, or in your car, or at work, and you're listening, that tells me you're pretty loyal already. So why don't we give them the bigger stuff?
Yeah. Why not?
Makes sense, right?
Right.
So,
And Nick, he can't yell at us about this one.
No.
No, but I can the other ones.
What's crazy? Two things that are crazy. Number one, that we've got the outreach that we have already with this program, and we're just a bunch of idiots. That's all we are, and people are listening to us, and that's cool. Thank everybody for that.
Are you admitting that finally?
I knew. I was under no assumption that I was anything more than. The other thing that's crazy is, although this 120 it's a big boy cooler.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a $400 cooler.
It's still a tenth, almost exactly a tenth of the size of our largest.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And but those, I mean, I've only known in the 20 years of existence of Icy Tech, I only know about 4 or 5 personal people that bought them for personal use.
Absolutely.
One of which was an Amish family. Or no, 2 of them were Amish families because they could put all their freezer meat in it for the winter, and it kept all year.
Yep.
The other one, and I'm not joking, this was probably 2-3 years ago, wanted to throw a heck of a party and wanted to fill it with beer. No, you know what? It was a 600. It was a 600 cube. And he fit 619 cans of beer in the cooler.
Oh.
Now, if you...
With ice, mind you.
With ice.
With ice.
But here's the kicker. This was the caveat. The guy called me laughing, hysterically, but almost crying too, because the common sense went out the window, and no dig on him, but he loaded it in his driveway and then didn't know how to move it after he filled it up. He didn't have a forklift, and I didn't have advice. So, hey, you got to unpack the cooler and move it somewhere else.
It only makes sense, though, because there's a certain type of person that tries to see how many beer cans you can fit inside of a cooler that big. And that's a very specific type of person.
That picture's on our Facebook page.
Absolutely.
So if you want to see the cooler, go back through our photos, and there's a picture of a 619 cans of beer later. Party at his house for 6 months. Yeah. So, but speaking of goofy moments, we did post a live video a little bit ago to like and share. And Nick was at the house. We're getting ready for the show. And we're sitting over by the fire pit, and the firewood. So we posted this little live video. Of course, we had to make a dig on you. But Facebook algorithm, you've got to love. And it took the thumbnail of the video, and it looks like Nick's picking his nose.
It does.
So we get done, and I upload it. You know, we've been doing this for a while, and I'm like, let me go ahead and share this. We'll get this out for the like share post for tonight. Let everybody know we're going to be live. And Nick looks like he's about one knuckle deep. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? He goes, oh, you know, and he's freaking out, like trying to. I'm like, I'm not changing it.
No,
it's
you
already
can't.
out there.
You can't.
It's kind of like live radio. Once it's out there, it's out there.
Only this kind of stuff happens to me. Like, for real.
At the same time, Nick is the newest addition to, like, me and Patrick have been running around for about a year now together. We sort of understand things. Nick is the newest member of this little trio. And
welcome to the tribe.
Is this counted as initiation?
Oh, no.
What?
Initiation.
That's still coming. That's still coming.
Nick will learn that we will all get our own digs in on each other. It's going to happen. This is just the first time it was directed at Nick.
Absolutely.
Well, except for Nick's fault. And okay, so we've been picking that
was
bit.
last week. Yeah. And then our second guest later this evening, Benny Elliott from BT Outdoors. Benny has been an avid bow fishing guide and bow fisher himself for 8 years.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Sounds about right.
I'll ask him later, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about 8 years. But he's been in the outdoor world for approximately 25 years.
Oh, I'm sure. Benny's super great. We met Benny at the archery trade show in Indianapolis last year, and man, he was such a hoot and instantly hit it off.
Yep.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a bow fishing guide." It's like, okay, what do you want? You know. And then Benny was just like, I couldn't get away from the guy. He was just that funny.
Yeah, to be fair, you didn't want to get away from him. Like, he's not one of those guys. He's the guy that's
great.
He's got this magnetism to him that like just draws people to him. He's a
if
ton
Benny
of fun.
ever retired from bow fishing, I'd have him up at Icy Tech in a heartbeat.
And he's a good guy, and you can.
Oh, genuinely.
I mean, just genuinely a very, very, very good person. Absolutely.
So definitely looking forward to having Benny on the show. I'm going to let you spearhead that one because you've known Benny a little longer.
Yeah, I got it.
And but no, so we're going to go from hunting gators to gator gar.
Yeah,
all tonight. I'm back to the lodge. We're going to take a quick break from a word from our sponsor. When we get back, we'll start maybe giving some stuff away real early.
Ooh. Not your fault this time, Nick.
Thank God.
Give it time. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. Get him! Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon, we built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. America Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
100.9 FM, we are back to the lodge. So, you guys, I'm still laughing at Matt. We're trying to post a live video. Matt was ducking in and out of the film, or on the screenshot, and then does his routine throat clearing. Before the break. Sounds absolutely awful in your headphones.
Look, I hate to say this out loud, but a small game of mine since about midway through the last episode last week was, I think it's funnier when when we come back from break and Patrick's laughing. So he may have noticed, but he hasn't recognized yet that I'm doing that on purpose. So I just wanted to see how long I could have kept it going.
Well, in last week when you decided to spray your neck down with contact cleaner, you smelling like rubbing alcohol the rest of the show. That was fun.
I'm dedicated to my jokes, and that's all that was.
Well, needless to say, you had me cracking up pretty good, and I had to go to the bathroom after that. It was pretty bad. So anyways, we're going to give away this 120 quart cooler tonight in this episode. But not necessarily somebody's going to win, because you got to like and share the page, and you got to be listening live. But I mean, if you want to win a $400 cooler, that's the way to do it.
Have we quite ironed out, I mean, how much time are we going to give these people from when we announce their name to when they have to call?
I mean, realistically, 5 minutes, because otherwise people are going to start messaging each other and say, hey, they drew your name.
I agree.
I'll split it with you, So you got 5 minutes to call in. That's pretty much what it's going to boil down to. And let's see where we're at on the schedule. So I want to try to give somebody an attempt, at least earlier on. We'll give it at least 2 tries. Where are we at right now, Nick? I'm looking at our schedule here. I want to make sure we stay on schedule so we don't run into Paul.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Okay. So what we have, I said Paul. I'm referring to Bruce. I'm still thinking last week's schedule. It's one of them days. All these great people, man. We're just blessed. But do we have time to take another break?
Yeah.
Before we get to
let's
Bruce?
do it.
All right. So let's start off small.
Yeah.
You have time to still go on to Facebook and Instagram. We'll take the Instagram followers too. If you're following us on Instagram and you're liking us on Facebook, you're already in. But if you're on Facebook, like and share the page and the post. We'll get you entered for the cooler. That's for the cooler.
Yep.
But let's go ahead and give away a tumbler. We'll start that right off the bat.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So we'll do 5th caller. We'll start simple. Keep it short because we got, maybe a 1-song break? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's do that. 5th caller at 866-708-FARM. That's 866-708-3276. 5th caller, you call us in now. You're going to win an Icy Tech tumbler. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to get him this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak. Made for moments like this.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntingdon, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran-owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
You're listening to 100.9 The Farm here in Huntingdon, Tennessee, and we are back to the lodge. So our fifth caller for the tumbler giveaway was Taylor Coulter. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Taylor Coulter of Atwood, Tennessee. Taylor was the fifth caller. Thank you for tuning in, Taylor. Like I said, we're going to still give away. I think we'll take a chance earlier on in the show to see who wins the 200 quart cooler. I'm sorry, 120 quart cooler. Slow down, sailor. So we'll do the 120 quart cooler. But like we said, when we get enough likes and shares on there, and they're building up now, so we're giving it some time for people to do that, and then we'll put the names in the random number generator, if I said that correctly this time, and we'll pick the winner. Then they'll have 5 minutes to call, and if they call in that 5 minute window, we're gonna ask real quick, who's this, and verify that you can message us on Facebook. So you can do it that way too. You can also message us on Facebook. If you hear our name or your name in that 5 minute window, message us so we know you heard it too. We'll verify your identity, and then you win the cooler. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simple enough.
Easy.
And then if nobody calls in because that person wasn't listening, then we'll try it again. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. So speaking of all these giveaways and stuff, I also, obviously the show is brought to you by IC Tech. That's us. We love doing this. We did this as like a passion project that kind of exploded into something way beyond that. So what started off as a hobby now turned into like a huge demand of time, which
crazy.
is awesome. I mean, we're more than happy to do it. And we're blessed to be able to reach out, kind of have a little variety show where you're laughing, crying, and all that other good stuff in between. So yeah, that's how this all came to be, but it wouldn't have been possible long term without the sponsors that we're working with.
That's exactly right.
And huge shout out to Mossy Oak. Mossy Oak Outdoors is one of the sponsors of the show, and we've been working with Mossy Oak for a while now. They're just absolutely great people. They believe in conservation, they believe in the outdoors, and they support veterans.
Yes, they do.
Yep. So very grateful to have them, and also America Bourbon. America Bourbon is also veteran owned.
That they are.
And
it's also delicious.
It is delicious. I actually cracked into that back on 4th of July weekend. That was pretty good. But Derek is the CEO, founder of American Bourbon. And Derek's probably listening right now going, you knucklehead. But he's got great products. And you can find them in just about every Walmart across the country that sells alcohol and, of course, your local retailers. So we're blessed to have also American Bourbon, but on top of that as well, Higdon Outdoors.
Yep.
And Higdon, those boys up there have the water game down pat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when it comes to ducks, they are, even geese, all waterfowl really. They've just super great guys.
I'd like to make a quick public apology to John Higdon. Because when we were up there for the Ducks Unlimited giveaway that we were up in Paducah with them, we're talking to this gentleman, and I did not do my homework.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who this gentleman was. Mm-hmm. And he looks at me and Patrick. Patrick, he knows exactly who this man is. I don't. And this gentleman starts talking to us about his media studios there and some other things, and he decides to give us this little tour. So we get this hands-on tour of the entire facility. Gorgeous facility, man. They've got some things figured out there. Oh, yeah. And we end up talking to John for, 30 minutes. Guy couldn't be any nicer. And then on the ride home is when that little light bulb clicked. That we just got a tour of Higdon by Higdon. Yeah. But great people, man. They've been a ton of fun to work with and just really easy going.
Did you have a little bit of fan fever?
No, I don't get that. No, not really.
I mean, in the bow fishing world, I've seen you have fan fever over somebody.
No, I know who you're referring to. No.
I mean, are you thinking about getting back into the bow hunting tournament?
I want to buckle, but we'll see. It's a lot of money, a lot of time. Two things in which I'm short of.
I mean, I'm sure we have some folks that can help make that happen.
Well, if we can make it happen. And then my boss, Nick, if you could put in a word with my boss that Matt's going to need time off.
Who the heck is your boss?
He's this big, tall idiot. Nobody really likes him.
Hey,
hey, buddy.
I don't know if you know this or not, but he's right here.
Surprise. So, I mean, let's talk about this. So, are we talking like going for the world championship again?
I'd like to. Yeah, I'd love to.
That's a big deal.
See, we got to get you an airboat.
Yeah.
That's big money.
And a truck to pull it.
He's going to need the whole 9 yards, man.
You're going down the wrong road with the wrong country song of choice.
And I need a Icy Tech loaded down with
there you go,
some America bourbon.
Yeah, I like that. Well, and now he's got America beer.
Yeah.
So add to that list.
Remix.
Now, somebody who's not a sponsor, but maybe could be one day.
Yeah.
So you already know this, Matt. You were with me today at the office, and Nick got to find out about this product once we were at the house. We had dinner before the show.
Yep.
I got a phone call a couple weeks ago from this guy, and we have a law firm with Icy Tech. Obviously, if you're a company that you're doing business, you need to have a good legal team. Obviously, it's necessary. And just through networking, our attorney Andy says, you really got to meet this guy. His name's Steve. He's got this barbecue sauce you got to check out. Andy knows, just as anybody who knows me knows, I am a huge food nut. Mm-hmm. I love to cook. That's my little secret about me. I love cooking. If you're a Facebook friend, too darn bad. You're going to see what we have for dinner every weekend. But I'm one of those annoying people. Long story short, get to talking with Steve. He owns Veterans Cube barbecue sauce. And we're on the phone talking, and I'm like, man, barbecue sauce in a bottle. I'm out.
And there's a million different ones.
And
all the same.
I've never really found a great one.
No.
There's some decent ones, and I grew up with and when I was a kid, we started with KC Masterpiece. And then as we got older, I found I like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yep.
And that was just my preference. It depends on what region of the country you're from. So I'm talking with him, and he's like, yeah, my mentor and advisor is Sweet Baby Ray himself.
Yeah. I'm like, that's pretty incredible.
You got to be kidding me. He goes, yeah, he lives however many minutes from me here in Chicago. I'm like, wow. So anyways, we proceeded to talk, and he sent me some samples to try. And I'm not saying this because the guy sent me samples. You guys know how I am. I do not promote anything.
How much money did he pay you?
Not a dime.
Not a dime. Same thing that we do for our people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But you know me, I will not endorse anything unless I 100% get behind
this one's worth it.
And so I get the sauces. I get shipped to the office today. And Matt was there, and I cracked the box open. And there's 3 different flavors. Yep. There was the golden one, the sweet and hot, sweet and spicy, sweet heat, and original. Yep. And I'm like, well, let me start with the original. Dear Lord.
Yeah. Yep.
That was good. And I'm like, well, that kind of just set the bar. So then I tried the sweet heat, and I'm like, oh. And then I tried the golden one, and I'm like, when I first tasted, I was thinking kind of honey mustard.
Yeah, it's
but then that's the first jab. Then a left hook is barbecue, and I'm like, that is creative. Best sauces in a bottle I've ever had in my life.
That's sweet heat for me and my family. How I cook, that on some ribs or on something. That for me. And then that's not all he sent us.
Well, no, he sent some dry rubs, but I haven't tried them yet.
No,
so I'm not going to shout them
them
out. I'm not going to shout them out. In all fairness,
by smell
smells great.
They're delicious.
But until I cook with them, all I'm going to vouch for right now is the sauces, and I'm sure he's not going to balk at that.
Right.
But those sauces, you both tried them. Both of you try them. They were that good, and I'm like, wow, holy crap! So if you want to find this barbecue sauce, their website is Veterans VETERANS Q, the letter Q.com. You can buy from his website. He's also on Amazon. He's in Albertsons. He's a growing company. Mm-hmm. But man, I'm telling you, this sauce was a home run. And you know me, when it comes to food, I'm so picky. I'll eat everything, but it has to taste good. And that sauce was a home run today.
Well, we're not going to name any of these companies out loud, but we've been sent stuff in the past. Not just sauces, and I mean, we've had everything. From shirt companies have sent us their shirts saying, "Hey, print yours on this." Or look,
you're scratching at your armpits 2 minutes later.
We really feel like, especially in the cooler game, that we have a super premium, the most super premium product, and we will not deviate from that idea. And because of that, we're not going to represent or talk about or have any dealings with people that don't share that same sort.
And look, it's not a jab at them.
It's not.
They're just not the product for us. And I'm not going to tell anybody that listens to us, like, well, hey, if I sponsor your show, will you promote? No. And then they get, one person got offended by that. And I'm like, it's just business. It's, and I'll tell them, like, it's just not a fit. And the reality of it is it's not. So like I said, all I did was have a conversation with the guy. He sent us some sauce. I tried it. Skeptical going into it. Skeptical like no tomorrow. Wow, was I wrong?
Yep.
I mean, just horribly wrong. So anybody who knows me or follows me, you see the cooking I do. And of course, Rachel can outcook me tenfold when it comes to the oven and saute, even though she denies it. But barbecue wise, that's my game. Stay out of my way. And those sauces were a home run. So I don't know why I felt the need to put that out there, but like the last time I got excited was when the pellet smoker came out. And I'll say who it was. It was Traeger. Traeger really kind of went in the market back then. And I was a huge fan. Had it for 10 years. Loved it. Used it till it fell apart. And it only fell apart because I left it out in the rain all the time. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I just don't get excited about food products.
See, 10 years ago, I'd have made fun of you so bad for having a pellet grill.
Oh, I get it.
But
time is everything.
I'm a believer. I have one. I've had one now for about 3 years. It doesn't replace my charcoal for certain things, but for the household, man, when we're prepping, chickens. I mean, I don't know that you can do chicken better.
Especially when you're trying to get house chores done at the same time.
It's an oven. It's a smoke-filled oven.
Because how often out of the day are you really, realistically, at home with nothing to do anymore?
I've never.
That's my point. So, when we were younger, yeah, you could go ahead and load up the smoker, or maybe when we're retired, you can go ahead and put some oak or mesquite or hickory in there and load up the smoker and actually cook all night. But now it's like, no, I need a pellet smoker. I need the pellet smoker because I don't have the time. So, yeah, I don't know. It felt so compelling. If it's great, it's great. And I'm going to love it. I'm going to support it. So, and also, too, I just found out that they actually, the proceeds, they're very similar to us. Their proceeds go to nonprofits as well. So he runs it more like a nonprofit than a for-profit. And he still has another job. So, I mean, he's doing the right thing and for the right reason. So I do commend him to that. The product's excellent. Check him out. Veterans Q barbecue sauce. They're on social media.
Yep.
All the, twit faces and all that other stuff. So
yeah,
they're all on there. So anyways, we got, what time is it? 6:40. We'll try to draw one of the names here maybe after Bruce, or should we do it before?
Why don't you throw the name out there?
We got to put them all on the generator still.
Oh, yeah. We'll do it after Bruce. We'll do it right after Bruce.
I like Nick's commentary. Nick's like the John Madden of the show.
Yeah. Doesn't say much, but
he
what
does that
he says. You still eating that barbecue sauce over there, Nick?
Yeah.
I reckon. Oh, man. Well, let's take a quick break, and we can plug some of the names into the generator. And we'll let somebody step into the batter's box and take a swing at this puppy.
Perfect.
How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Well, you're kind of in charge of this part. So
yeah, you just got to clicky the buttons.
Oh. Well. Yeah.
You can do that?
What?
Yeah, let's get some of these names in this generator.
We can go to a break, and then we can get some of the names. Well, let's. I want to see how this works.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see if we can, take a swing at it. Make it more fun. And then that way, I mean, people can go, look, I'm going to tune in. Some people are probably tuning in just to win a cooler. Hey, that's cool. Join us for the ride. Grab a seat. Grab a beer. I don't care. This is going to be fun.
Well, and I think we want this as much as it can be. It is obviously a conversation between three guys and then whoever we're interviewing. But as interactive as you can make a radio show, I think, is what we're at least trying to strive for.
Thank God we don't have video on this show.
Yet.
We'll have to buy Nick a box of Kleenex. It's coming.
Oh, no.
But anyways, we'll go ahead and put the names in the random number generator.
God,
that's such a mouthful for me. But we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself. A belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon. We built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on. Love of country and love of a fine bourbon. America Bourbon. Vet-owned and made proudly in the USA. Available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
When you purchase an IcyTech cooler, not only are you getting the best and original Rotomold cooler for your barbecue, your kid's graduation party, or maybe even the boat, but your proceeds from that purchase go on to help Gold Star families receive grief counseling retreats so they can heal and get a little piece of their heart back. So they can have the same quality of life that we share. IcyTech, USA.
All right, so we are back to the lodge. We're trying to get the debate. We got all the names in the generator. Oh, and the screen went blank. There we go. I got the name back up. So in order to stay on time with everything, we've got to have this person call in by 6:45?
No, we have to go to break, and then we have to call and get Bruce on the line at 6:45.
So really, we've only got 2 minutes.
We've only got 2 minutes, yeah.
All right, so here's the option. You got 2 minutes to call us.
Yep.
If you can't call us in the 2 minutes, you got 5 minutes to message us on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we picked from the first post that was posted over the weekend, because that's the first half of the show. We'll do the first post. So Nick Snellgrove of Alabama, if you are listening, you've got 2 minutes to call or 5 minutes to message us on Facebook.
Actually, 1 minute to call now.
1 minute to call or 5 minutes from now to message us on Facebook. You will win an IcyTech 120 quart cooler. Call us at 866-708-FARM. We'll be right back.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to get him this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
IcyTech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out IcyTech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntingdon, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IcyTech coolers and accessories. IcyTech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran-owned and operated. IcyTech, USA.
You're listening to 100.9 The Farm, and we are back to the lodge. With us this evening, the Honorable Bruce Mitchell. Bruce,
What's
good
up,
evening.
fellas?
How are you?
I'm doing better, doing good.
Doing better and good. What are you up to these days down in Louisiana?
Well, just trying to get the farm straight a little bit, and doing a little work. Just getting ready for deer season.
That's right. Now, when you say getting ready for deer season, does that mean for you to go hunt deer, or does that mean to feed the gators some deer?
Well, we like to hunt deer a little bit, hogs, and a little bit of everything down here. I'm trying to get all my work done so I can do that.
Well, does that ever stop?
No, it don't. It just never does. We've been going off the farm for 10, 12 years now.
Certainly.
And we just got the farm back. And you got to watch what you wish for.
So long days, little sleep, a lot of outdoor cooking, huh?
Oh yeah, that's the way we do it.
So a lot of people know you from Swamp People. You were the Gator man. You're known for your coveralls and bandana, very recognizable. Have you always dressed that way?
Basically, yes. We've been wearing overalls a long time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all know this. Y'all ain't old enough, but they used to have buttons on them.
What do you mean we're not old enough? I had a pair.
I might still have a pair, actually.
Yeah.
So
well, I actually found one pair of old ones I had with buttons on it, and that's probably from the 70s.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and if the button popped out, you were having a bad day. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Especially depending on what you wore underneath them.
Well, Miss Janet, my wife used to go shopping every year, and she'd bring her van and go to Boaz, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And she would load us up on overalls.
Really?
Well, when she'd come back, the next day we all were sporting brand new overalls, wearing them.
Mm-hmm.
And her daddy come around the corner, and he was all wet. I said, "What happened to you?" He said, "Watch it, y'all." He said, "They don't put zippers in these things." And that was probably 30 years ago, and I can remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh man, he had little warning. So now we see, and you're going to have to explain to us a little bit. Now we see you down there in the Everglades catching Burmese pythons and green anacondas. What happened there?
Yeah, you never know where life's going to lead you. You know, and you just trying to make a nickel. All it's about, trying to get by. And the History Channel invited me to come back down there and try it. I said, "Well, I have never done that before, but what the heck, sounds fun to me."
So you just jumped into it.
Oh yeah, jumped straight into it. Didn't know what I was doing. Still don't know what I'm doing.
Oh man! So you're walking up on an 18-foot anaconda, and you've never done this before?
Nope.
What?
And
what possessed you to go? Yeah, I'll give that a give. I'll give it a go.
My wife said they're gonna pay good.
I'm assuming like all you swamp, folk down there in southern Louisiana, that you've had some time, wrangling alligators and stuff. Is it similar?
No. I will jump on any alligator they have. I'm not scared of gators. That snake is a whole different. It's just different. Our snakes in Louisiana, you look at them, and I've done caught them in the snake down here in Louisiana. We used to sell them. But you usually see a snake here, you look at it, and it takes off running.
Huh.
Well, the Florida snakes, they do the same thing, but they run at you, not away from you.
What goes through your mind? Okay, so let's go to one of the notorious episodes last season. You had already wrangled up 2 or 3 Burmese pythons, and your swamp buggy breaks down in the middle of the Everglades at night, and you decide. And I'm going to ask you what made you decide that, but you decide let's hoof it back.
Well, we didn't have no choice.
I mean, isn't there a cameraman or one of the producers with you? Or?
Yeah, we got cameramen, but they cannot assist us. There's no phones out there. If you got one, it don't work.
They better be paying that cameraman a lot of money.
Yeah, so these guys are super tough. These camera guys. But we out here in the middle of nowhere. I climb a tree, I see a light.
Yep.
So all I know is go to the light.
Oh, jeez.
And we got almost to the light, and that's where we found that big anaconda at.
Oh man! And so you tied him up, and you put this anaconda on your shoulders.
Yeah, we carried it out.
Brother, we've been friends for a couple of years now, and I can honestly say you ain't right.
Yeah. We knew that snake was in that area somewhere. Okay? That was a pet snake.
Well, when you said that in the show, I thought, well, either the show put the snake in there, or, I understand a lot of people's pets get released down there. So he seemed pretty docile, but I would have peed myself. I would have peed myself.
Yeah, oh yeah. I didn't know what it was at first. I didn't know a snake could get that big.
What did you think it was? Just curious.
I didn't know. I know I seen it moving. And, my buddy, I told him grab it. He said, "You man, not me." So we started touching it, and we've been used to these Burmese pythons. and you touch one of them, and they turn around and try to bite you.
Yeah.
But this one was different. It was calm, and I didn't even know what kind of snake it was. I just know it was huge, and I was just starting down there, and I said, if it's gonna be like this every day, I ain't gonna make it.
But you don't even get paid for the
Anaconda.
anacondas, do you?
So we wound up. I think we give it back to the owner.
Wait, so
And,
it escaped, or?
Yeah. He was cleaning the cage, and it got out, and he said he laid it in the yard, which he did all the time to get sun. And when he turned around, it was just gone.
What was the cage? An in-ground pool? Olympic-sized pool?
Oh, well, yeah, they got but anyway, it moved probably about 40, 50 miles from his house.
Holy cow.
Oh, man.
But people were seeing it.
I mean, in the Everglades, what is that going to eat? I mean, is it fast enough to get a hog?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They lay up, and they can move when they want to.
Well, and I know those Burmese pythons are doing work on the hare population in there. I know I've been reading up on some of that. That's been a big. That they're worried about the hare population.
We've run around at night with headlights, and down here in Louisiana on the roads and stuff. You know, you got dead possums, coons, neutral, everything dead on the road at night.
Yeah.
Over there where we were at on that Tamiami Trail, nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Well, they're going to eat it up. But
everything.
How many people are realistically going down there? I mean, you've got to have balls of steel just to go down there as it is.
Well, I laughed one day. I had a big snake, probably 12, 13 footer, and I was in knee-deep water, not about a foot deep. And I grabbed the snake by the tail, and what you do, grab by the tail, and you try to wear him out, and then you grab the head. Well, in the meantime, while I'm doing this, he jumps at my chest, and they're real fast in the water. And this snake is 12 foot long. Well, he jumps up and almost hits me in my chest. I fall backwards in the water. I'm running like a crawfish backwards. I got two cameramen running beside me, filming me, laughing. And anyway, I realized after 2 or 3 minutes, maybe if I let his tail go, he'll quit trying to bite me. So I let his tail go, and my buddy Zach grabbed it. We got back up, and I started, finally caught the snake. Well, that night, they was in the trailer, and they watched some of the footage in there. So I walked by that trailer, I hear them laughing and cutting up. And I opened the door, I said, what's so funny? They said, listen to this. So they played something back to me, and I was listening. I said, sounds like a woman screaming. They said, that's you. I said, dude, y'all got to erase that. He said, no way, it's going to be on the show this year.
So have you managed to get bit at all?
Oh, yeah, I've been bit several times. It just scares you. One time, I got bit, and I got mad. And I said, this is personal, man. I'm going to get this snake. And I run up and down, and I grabbed him. And my hand was just pouring blood. And we got the snake in the bag, and Zach said, look at your finger. They had the fangs actually broke off in my finger.
Oh.
And they pulled them out. They even got that on camera, I think. Pulled the fangs out of my finger that broke off in there.
Oh, man.
But I think that's what makes the show so good is we're scared. We're really scared.
Man,
that's what somebody said when the show first come out last year. They said, boy, y'all good actors. I said, acting hell. We all scared.
Do you feel that your experience down there in the Louisiana March, which I'm assuming when you're out there in the swamp, that don't bother you at all? That's second nature to you. But then the swamps of the Everglades, do you feel you're more comfortable than the average, or do you feel you're right back to square one in this new environment?
Down there, you're dealing with different animals. The main two you got to worry about is the pythons and the cougars. The cougars are bad down there too. They're everywhere. They're killing everything.
Wow.
But them snakes, oh golly, them snakes are something.
I'm sitting here speechless. I mean, you've been out there wrangling gators, hunting gators, and you even had the farm, and it just, inspired you to, well, here's an opportunity. Let's go down and wrangle gators that can strangle me to death. Never done it, but why not? I mean, I've done some pretty crazy stuff, Bruce. You are my people. right.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But let's shift gears for a minute. What you've been in the outdoors your entire life. You've been fishing, you've been hunting, you've had different types of farms over the years. Who was the most influential person in your life that got you outdoors?
Probably my grandpa Abear. They lived in the swamp. He hunted, trapped, fished, deer hunted. And that's just the way they made a living. And I was very fortunate when I was growing up. I had my grandpa Mitchel and them lived right next door to me, and my grandpa Abear lived right down the road. I could actually throw a rock to them. They had what they call the Highland house, which they had a berry farm and all that. But all the winter months, they'd spend in the swamp, hunting, fishing, shrimping, stuff like that. And I just was poor for that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And you said you called him Grandpa.
Oh, yeah. Papa Abear and Papa Mitchell. And I was very lucky. I got to see my grandpa every day, both of them.
Wow. That is
every
amazing.
day of my life, we're coming up. And they taught you stuff. They did, when you was coming up, you didn't even realize you was being taught stuff, but you was taught stuff.
Yeah.
And how to survive, how to live off the land and stuff. And, it's just the way they had to do it back then.
So when Bruce isn't out there wrangling gators or snatching up pythons or cooking on his patio and doing your food show.
I love those videos.
And I do too. What is your go-to when Bruce needs to get outdoors and unwind by himself? What's your go-to?
I jump one of these boats and head to the swamp. I just love that swamp. It's something that it's hard to explain. It's just my peaceful place. Mm-hmm. I could grab a knife and maybe a pistol or a rifle and just take off and stay. When I was a kid, I done that all the time. Now they got schools that teach surviving and stuff like that. But back then, that's just what we did.
Yeah.
Went out, hunted, fished, stayed out 3 or 4, 5 days at a time.
People don't get that anymore.
No. And believe it or not, we buy camping equipment right now, tent, sleeping bag, and we're fixing to start doing it again, me and my wife and some friends.
Oh, very good.
We're gonna probably come up y'all's way that land between the lakes to do that, bum.
Hey, we already told you we are ready and waiting for you.
Absolutely.
We will get you out in a few places wherever you want to go.
Yeah. Well, good. We're working on that, get stuff lined up now. So, and what we want to do is go camp and just do like we used to do. Maybe do a little fishing instead of a lot of hunting right now, because different states is different now.
Yeah.
But just show how we used to do it,
Absolutely. Well, when we come back, we're going to ask Bruce some questions, and he's going to tell us about some of the philanthropy he's got going on. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. We'll be right back. Get him! Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon, we built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. America Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
100.9 The Farm, and you are back to the lodge. We are here with the second part of Bruce Mitchell. Bruce, you've been quite the traveler, working with all kinds of reptiles and let's just say all kinds of dangerous creatures.
Yeah.
And you're definitely a man's man, but let's pull that curtain back a little bit. Let's talk about some of the philanthropy that you do that a lot of people just don't know about.
Well, you got to give back. It's just something you got to do. And I've been put in a position where I can help a lot of people sometimes. I can help raise money and stuff like that. So you got to give back and do what you can.
Mm-hmm. And you're working with two organizations particularly.
Yeah, well, we work with a bunch of them actually, but we do some stuff with Wounded Warriors, and we do some stuff with Quad Vet. It's a place right up the road. I'm really fond of it.
Now, and just so folks understand, when he's saying Wounded Warriors, he's referring to Wounded Warrior Outdoors, which is a separate organization than the big corporate conglomerate that we all know of, which is doing much better things, it looks like.
Yeah.
So what Wounded Warriors, tell us a little bit about what they do.
A lot of them take vets out on hunts and stuff like that, and just help the vets out some, you know.
And they're getting them out there fishing and hunting. And
yeah.
And Quad Vets. Explain a little bit about that.
Quad Vets a little different. This guy, we know, Wild Sibley, his mama started the organization just to help a few vets out.
Mm-hmm.
And it mushroomed, and it got to be a place that housed 40 vets, I think it is. And they have room for 40. And they take care of them, feed them, and get them jobs and get them off the street. It's mainly for homeless vets. And they get them off the street and get them jobs and get them back functioning again. You know, a lot of them been through so much stuff, people don't realize what these vets go through, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Wallace and them, you know, he does this on his own. He borrowed a pile of money to make this thing happen. And his mama started it, but like I say, it's mushroom now. It's done got big. And it just takes money to run a place like this that house 40 people. And because they got full staff out there, Wallace don't take a penny off of nothing. And I got involved with them to try to raise a little money just to get out there, you know, to help some of this stuff go on, you know. It just takes lots of money.
Yeah. Money makes the world go round, especially in the outdoors, unfortunately. And we do everything we can to reduce the amount of money people have to spend to get outdoors. And that's actually why we put this show together.
Absolutely.
And to hear the stories of folks. Go ahead, Bruce.
It's little things you don't even think about that, you know, that adds up. Transportation. I know Wallace is always out there. I seen you got somebody in the truck. He'll run and pick somebody up, bring them to work, and then got to go back and get them. And, you know, it's just little things like that add up.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to find these two foundations and work with Bruce to support the outdoors, Wounded Warrior Outdoors.com. The other organization, Quad Vets, can be found at Quad Vets. That's QUADVETS.org. Both those organizations Bruce works with and has been doing just tremendous amounts of passion towards both of them. So, Bruce, I'm going to ask you two more questions. You ready for the big ones?
Sure.
Where were you 1 week before you ever found about being on TV or Swamp People or any of that? Where were you in life at that point?
Actually, we we had a big gator and turtle farm, and we raised about 5,000 to 8,000 gators a year.
Wow.
I raised over 1 million turtles a year.
Holy cow.
Butchered turtles, probably 350,000 pounds of meat a year. And a week before Swamp People started, they sent some girls out here because Swamp People, History Channel done come several times, which I did not know it was the History Channel.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me to be on this documentary. And I said, look, y'all, I'm so busy, I just don't have time. Because at that time, we were buying wild gator meat, and probably from 50 or 60 different people. It's just a lot of work, 2 or 3 o'clock that morning. So anyway, I kept turning them down. They wanted me to be on this documentary. Finally, these girls come one morning, and the day before, I was out in my boat, and my motor was knocking. Well, the motor I needed to be replaced was about $5,000. Them girls come here that morning. Me and my dog was Saturday morning, we were watching TV. We had it on the History Channel, and the girls kept giggling. I said, what's so funny? Y'all don't have a History Channel? They said, no, actually, this show's going to be on History Channel. I said, well, that's all I watch, so, we'll look into it. And then they told me they're going to pay me $5,000 to do this show. And I said, well, I kind of need a new boat motor. And that's how I got on Swamp People.
Wow. So just when you're kind of at a break point and you're stressed and, a new expense built up, it always seems to be that's a turning point, and you can find those opportunities there. They're right under your nose if you just pause.
Yeah. And I signed up a bunch of papers and stuff for this show, and they gave me a $5,000 check, and I handed it to my wife, which you can ask her. I don't fool with money. I make it, I hand it off to the wife. That's just the way it's done.
Sounds like a smart man.
Yeah.
And you've been married how many years?
I've been married for 40 years.
There you go.
Ooh, you figured something out.
Yeah. She was 13, I was 15 when we met. So we've been together a while.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But I told her to cash that check and put it on top of the refrigerator. I said, because if I can't make it, I'd give these people their money back.
Wow.
So anyway, here we are, 12, 15 years later, and I'm still working with the History Channel.
Wow.
That is awesome. Congratulations, Bruce. All right, well, like I said, there's 2 questions. So here comes the second one. And it's a question we ask everybody. If you could go back, or even today, and give someone that's sitting at home, maybe frustrated, they're tore apart with everything going on in this country right now, and then maybe they want to get outdoors or they don't, but what advice would you give somebody to help them get through some hard times that has helped you?
Just go sit with them, talk with them, call them. Sometimes it's just a phone call. You pass by their house, stop in to see them.
Yeah.
It's just the way you got to do people, and a lot of times most people, there's something wrong with, they don't want to bother nobody.
Sure.
But, so if you stop by and see them and talk to them and let them get something off their chest or whatever, you've done a lot.
Certainly. And what would you say to the person that's on the receiving end if they needed some advice that needs that ear but nobody's stopping by? What advice would you give them about the outdoors and how it can help them?
Just the outdoors, that's where I go get my feet. Right. Y'all see my outdoor kitchen out here, but when it hits me, I just turn around and walk behind the kitchen and keep on walking. Mm-hmm. I hit the woods and I go. They walk around the woods an hour or 2, and it just lets your mind go. It releases everything.
Absolutely.
I think we all agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Well, Bruce, I think you hit the nail on the head. And speaking of that porch cooking, Matt and I will be heading your way here in a couple weeks.
Yes.
And
okay. I'll fix y'all something to eat.
I'm looking forward to it, buddy. You
Absolutely.
and that Blackstone, and I've got one too. I love them. I know you do too. But we are looking forward to that. And we look forward to having you up here, and we'll go up to the lakes and slam some fish in the mornings. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Awesome, buddy. Well, thank you for being on the show. And as always, a true pleasure and honor. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. We'll be right back after a message from this sponsor.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
When you purchase an IcyTech cooler, not only are you getting the best and original Rotomold cooler for your barbecue, your kid's graduation party, or maybe even the boat, but your proceeds from that purchase go on to help Gold Star families receive grief counseling retreats so they can heal and get a little piece of their heart back. So they can have the same quality of life that we share. IcyTech USA.
You are listening to 100.9 The Farm, and we are back to the lodge. Nick, not you.
Oh.
Nick Snellgrove missed his opportunity to win the 120.
But what's bad for him could be good for you.
Somebody else's fortune.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're going to have to do a round 2 at some point tonight.
Yeah, at some point.
So, anyways, the last song, Making Me Look Good Again by Drake White. Obviously, we had Drake here in town back on July 3rd and did a great performance, social distancing and all that good stuff, and turned out to be a great 4th of July event, fireworks. What a blast. We'll definitely have to put something together for next year. Matt's probably rolling his eyes at the same time when he's saying yep.
Yes and no, because we talked about, coming up to it, to the day of.
You learned a lot, didn't you?
We worked so hard, man. it was, for the month previous to it was some of the most running around and just crazy life schedule thing that I've ever dealt with. Mm-hmm. But then at one point, I know right before we lit the fireworks, I was standing behind stage with you, and we had that moment where we turned around and we saw everybody standing there, and it did make it, worth it. It did. And now I'm coming 100%. Off of that sort of high.
Exactly.
Where, I'm all for it. Now I'm going to be cussing you about week 2 of it.
When you have to wire them fireworks back together.
But no, it was too much fun, man. It was for specifically our community and many other communities needed that. They needed
big time.
They needed an escape.
And I needed that too.
It was awesome to see. We had over 2,000 people come through the gate, and we have a huge area that we did it in, and to see how everybody was still able to remain spaced, and it was a home run. It was awesome.
That was great.
The only thing that I don't want to do again is that heat.
Well, that's not exactly what I prescribed, so it comes with the territory. So maybe we'll have to look for fall. We'll go back like we did in October last year. So we'll have to go back and do like an October event where there's enough room for everybody and it's safe. So like we did this year. So, we're blessed, and that was awesome community, and they deserved it. So I'm very happy to do that. And, but anyways, we've kind of pivoted a little bit. Truly, like in having Drake do that, it was great. We've established some great relationships in the country music industry. And one of which, he started off, and I'm probably wrong. I even texted him. I said, I'm going to call you out on the radio. So started off as a songwriter. Now he's a solo artist, Josh Phillips. And Josh is just, this guy's been so genuine. He called me. And it's a friend of a friend. He's a friend of another Josh. So it's Josh and Josh, the two Joshes. And which Josh Miranda, we just heard his song a little bit ago. And super great dude. And he introduced me to Josh Phillips. Josh is like, hey, man, what's going on? Let's hang out sometime. Let's meet. So I drive out to Nashville, and I grabbed one of my friends from there. I said, we'll take him a cooler, show up. He texts me. He goes, hey, man, you got another one for Chris Young? I was like, yeah, we can do that. Let's have lunch. So we drive down to Nashville with the intent of having lunch. And it turned out like more of like a liquid lunch for us. But it was all good. And no, I got to sit and have lunch with Chris and Josh, and man, to just sit one-on-one with Josh and Chris Young, and they're just such great dudes. one-on-one, to the core, the most genuine guys I've ever met. And I'm just like, wow, anything we can do to help, and he was vice versa. It was just super great guys. So Josh Phillips, his music's available online on iTunes and YouTube, and I mean, let's stay away from YouTube, but available on iTunes. And of course, what's the system that we use all the time? They have it at the mic stand.
Oh, man.
Somebody asked me about this the other day and asked where Josh's song was, and I said,
TouchTunes?
TouchTunes. That's it.
There
He
you
says,
go.
how come Miranda wasn't TouchTunes? I don't know. So I messaged him. He's like, we'll get right on.
Yep.
But Josh Phillips is on TouchTunes, and his song in a bar somewhere. So we do want to get to that. We're going to play that shortly.
Mm-hmm.
I almost put you on the spot, Nick.
Yeah.
He's like fidgeting around. What? We're doing what?
Just hit your buttons, Nick.
Yeah, I can do that.
You are a button pusher.
Man, it's a hard job.
You can learn from Matt. He's really good at pushing my buttons.
Really good.
Those are the buttons I don't want to push, though.
You shouldn't have told me that. I'm going to find him.
Nothing beats the day when you find Matt. You walk in the door and he's already throwing his phone down. He's like, "Jeez!" I was like, "Morning, Matt." Did you have a good phone call? No.
Gosh, I wish I could air out some of those stories that I've got, but I just here. This is the short one that I can say, and I won't say their names. But look, if
how
you
about
drill,
the jet ski one? Oh no, yeah, you can do that.
If you drill holes, 3/4-inch holes, so you can put 4-inch lag bolts through them, so your cooler stops sliding in the back of your boat. No, our warranty does not cover leaking. If you drill 4 holes in it. No, I'm not paying for return shipping on drain plugs that you thought were going to fit your jet ski.
Yeah.
These are some of the calls that I get.
I think we ended up doing that, though.
We did end up paying the return shipping. Yes, we did. But then we put a clause on the
we did.
that it not
These
for
are for
watercraft
coolers.
use or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it comes with the territory, and
Sure.
it's not a dig on them. It's just the entertainment of the day. People will be people.
Yeah.
And we love people, so we're pretty tolerable. But it does make for a fun morning after your coffee, and it's like, well, Matt just stormed out the door. So
Matt's awake now. Yeah. Most of my calls are super nice. I'm dealing with typically very normal, easygoing people.
1 out of 5,000 calls is just.
But those few ones are the ones that stick in your mind.
They do seem to be right at 9 o'clock in the morning.
They're always. It's like they've been fuming over the fact that their cooler is leaking because there's 4 holes drilled in the bottom of it, and they've just been watching the time to call me to see if my warranty is going to cover that. And so they're all built up and they're all upset, and I'm just trying to process the fact that you think that my warranty is going to cover the fact that you drilled holes in the cooler. It makes for interesting moments.
Well, and before we got into the sunglasses business, there was a guy that owns a sunglass manufacturer in California.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, he goes, if you think customer service is fun, I get calls for guys that say, I can't see through my lenses. I can't see. And then he's like, well, okay, that's not working. Try that. Is the lens cracked? No, there's no. And he'll say, can you just take a picture and email it to me? And the guy has gearbox grease all over the glasses. And he's wiping them with a greasy rag from his shop. And he's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you've got machine grease on your glass. What rag did you use? And of course, the rag is clumped with grease.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, what?
I thought very carefully before we got into sunglasses. And I'm like, man, we get some fun calls. But
Did you ever think you was going to run into something like that?
No. No. Nobody wakes up in the morning and is like, I want to make sure I put the best product in the market to the right folks. And they're going to love it. And you go, and I can't wait for them to call and have some crazy inquiry. You just don't think of that. But it does make it for entertaining. And you've got to, look, if you're going through life super serious, you are going to be sorely disappointed if you go into entrepreneurship, because it is a wild ride. But, and again, that's why we're doing Back to the Lodge.
Yep.
It's about the mental health. You've got to check yourself and get outside and find peace with nature. whether you go for that walk in the park, even if it's just down the sidewalk in your neighborhood, if you can. I mean, I understand there's people in neighborhoods that aren't that safe. Find that sanctuary, and just get outdoors, because, if you don't hear it from our guests on the show and you're not getting it, go find it yourself. I mean, it's so simple to do. And
what's fortunate for me is when I do get these crazy phone calls, because of the property that Icy Tech is sitting on right now. When Patrick sees me throw my phone and storm out the office, I'm going out the back door.
Yeah, he's heading to the pond.
Because I can just we have a 1 acre pond back behind the shop, and I can just take a quick stroll around it, one lap around it, and usually I'm backgrounded again. And we all get bent out of shape from time to time. Every single one of us. Things happen. And for us, it's been the outdoors. That's why me and Patrick got close, is the conversation about what sort of brings us back to reality. And that's, like Patrick said, that is the mission to all of this, that although we're goofballs and idiots and, we like to have fun, it's the outdoors that brings us back to reality when things turn bad.
Yeah. But, you know what? It's, what a blessing, though. I mean, to be where we're at and do all this, we want to help. And I'm telling you, if you're listening right now, you might be cracking up with us. You might even think we're just idiots. That's fine too.
It's also probably true.
But yeah, it probably is. But I mean, take some time, put the earbuds in, just go for a walk. Mm-hmm. And at some point, take the earbuds out. Just take it all in. Whether you go out and sit by a lake, we've got Great Lakes around here. Sure. I mean, and I don't mean Great Lakes as in the Midwest. That came out wrong. But I mean, we've got 1,000 Acre Lake. We've got land between the lakes. You've got Kentucky Lake. We are surrounded by bodies of water everywhere. So, you don't have to be on the ocean to get out. Just go find that water. Go find a nice clean spot to sit down. Heck, even if it isn't clean, just park it, man. Relax. Yep. Life is good. And there's never been problems thrown at us that we don't get through. So, but anyways, let's change the tempo a little bit. We did call out Josh Phillips.
We did.
Dude's super great. And his song, In a Bar Somewhere, we want to run that. But before we run that, like I said, nobody won the 120 quart cooler yet.
Right.
But I'm not ready to draw that yet. Okay. So, tumbler time?
You want to do one?
Look, I'm just so glad it's not us this time, Nick.
Me,
I woke up in a better mood today.
I do feel a little bad that we gave you such a hard time, Nick, last episode about giving away so much stuff. And now Patrick's just throwing stuff. Guys, I have the keys to his truck. And if you are caller number...
Whoa. Slow down. I mean, I woke up in a better mood. I got a good night's sleep. What can I say? Now, tomorrow, I've got conference calls starting really early, so be glad it's tonight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give it away then, boy.
So,
give it away.
If you want to win a tumbler, real simple. What caller do we want to do? We did 5th, I think, last time.
Yeah.
Nick, you're in charge.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do hardcore this time?
I don't know what that means. I could make an argument that a low number or a high number.
A high number.
It's whatever you
because
want.
Because we got a lot of calls.
I know.
Like we were, the phone was still going off after we got our 5th caller.
Yeah. Well, it's a 1-song break. Let's do caller number 10.
Yeah.
So if you're caller number 10, you want to win an Icy Tech tumbler, we appreciate you. So this is us giving back. We're going to hey, it's the giveaway show. We might as well call it that time. It's 1-866-708-FARM, 1-866-708-3276. You are listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. Get up. Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntington, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran owned and operated. IC Tech USA.
100.9 The Farm, and we are back to the lodge. Congratulations to Jason Coggins of Albany, Georgia, was the 10th caller on the Icy Tech Tumbler. So, look, if you get through and you're caller 1, 2, 3, anywhere in between, you can still call back. But I guess we have to also, we do want to let people know the sweepstakes rules with the radio station policies is once you win, there's a 30-day cooling off period. So, once you've won, you got to wait 30 days before you can win again. Haven't run into that problem yet, but, never know. So that's the rules. But anyways, so the next guest we got coming on, Mr. Benny Elliott.
Love Benny.
Your buddy.
Love him.
He's such a great dude. So he's standing by, and what time is he coming up?
We got to start this break at 7:38 to be on time.
So we got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the man, Benny Elliott, BT Outdoors, will be coming up. Have you bow fished with him yet?
No, I haven't. I've known of Benny for a few years now. Benny is, so to give people a little background, I tournament. I almost put that past tense because I haven't shot a tournament in so long.
Sure.
I was a tournament fisherman for some years. That led me some travels around the nation, meeting some really good people. Now, Benny, to my knowledge, and we'll talk, I'll try to dig it out of him, but I don't think that he ever shot a tournament. But he is, renowned as one of the better guide services in America, especially if you are looking for, a big family-friendly, safe. I mean, his boat is a tank, and I mean, he's set up to handle everything from, a 3 to 4 man trip to, I think that he's put 10 plus people on that boat before. It is a huge boat. Yeah. But no, I have not had the pleasure of out shooting Benny on the boat, and I hope he's listening right now. And I'm hoping that I can come down there and help show him how to fill a barrel.
Oh boy.
But no, I will be getting on a boat we will. Patrick, we still got to get you to shoot your first fish. It's not that you've missed a bunch, which you will, everybody does, but you haven't even gone out.
I'm like 3 feet further away from the water than you.
And you'll see when I shoot, I'll dip that arrow dang near in the water before I let her go.
So, slouched over with no boots on, I'm 6'6".
Yeah.
And Matt is...
the tallest I've ever been measured is 5'9". I'm about 5'9".
Is that with Ariats on or no?
No. I'm about 5'9". That's 5'9" is. I've been measured 5'10" once, and I was super excited. I rolled with that for a while.
You were probably walking around at 5'11" when you heard that. But no, so yeah, you definitely have the advantage over me. And but yeah, super excited. Benny Elliott's coming on next. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, but when we come back, I'm so excited, dude.
Me too.
I'm going to let you spearhead this.
I'll run it.
This is totally your gig this time.
You sit back and just
trust
watch
me.
the
I am
magic.
going to shut up.
Good.
Which is, you've been waiting for that moment. God. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to get him this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon, we built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, But there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. America Bourbon. Vet-owned and made proudly in the USA. Available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
What's up, guys? We are back to the lodge with a, well, this is going to be a pretty fun interview, Nick.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to agree.
We've got Benny Elliott from BT Outdoors. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man.
What are you doing this evening?
Hopefully fixing to go back to the lake and go fishing.
That's right.
Yeah.
You spend a few nights on the water.
Yeah. It is a part-time passion that's turned into a full-time hobby, I guess you could say. 'Cause, I mean, it keeps on going. Never thought I'd end up where I was at with it. That's for sure.
Well, and I think it's pretty easy to say that you are. You're one of the premier guides across the nation right now. And for people who don't know you, Benny runs a company called BT Outdoors, and they are a bow fishing guide service. And Benny, where are you located?
We're in East Texas. It's we fish Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend. I'm actually located in a little town called Savala, but we're about 2 hours north of Houston because nobody ever knows where Savala's at. So
right.
I mean, it doesn't even have a red light.
Well, I had the pleasure, or you could fill in the blank with whatever word, of meeting you back in January, which I've known of you for a while, but never obviously was in face to face with you. But I met you back up at the ATA show up in Indianapolis, and I think we had a little bit of fun.
Oh yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. We sort of brought you into our bubble a little bit. You brought us into your bubble, and when the bubbles collided, we had some fun.
Yeah, if you can't go enjoy yourself with whatever you're doing, then it's just not worth doing most of the time.
Right.
And if you enjoy yourself, then you're going to do a lot better job.
Well, and it was nice. We had, between the two of us, we had two very different reasons for sort of being up there. Yours was obviously way more the networking side of things for the guide service. Ours was as an actual, we had an actual booth up there in Indianapolis, which was actually my first crack at a trade show. So that was interesting to say the least. But, we met you, it was probably the Faradine guys who introduced us, would be my guess. Is that right?
Yeah, and I walked over to the booth and just made a kind of an off the cuff comment. Man, a cooler like that, it looked good in my boat, and it just kind of went from there, and it works out pretty good,
It did go from there. Tell people what you have in your boat right now.
It's a 450 quart Icy Tech cooler, and we have to yet fill it up with fish, but I'm waiting on this winter that we're going to see if we can't get pretty close on it. And it works. I can pick it up and take it in and out of the boat by myself, or if I have to, me and my wife can help get it in and out. I mean, it's not a big deal. It works really well. So, it works good to stand on too.
Absolutely.
So,
and it looks great. You've got the top of it wrapped with, it essentially looks exactly like your boat wrap, which we'll get into your boat in a second because that's a whole conversation on its own. But, it looks great. I mean, it looks like it was supposed to have been there, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I like it, and it's functional.
Absolutely.
It's not, I'm not going to put something on the boat that's not functional. If it don't function, I don't need it, whatever it is.
And Benny, we've been telling people this, but I think people have a hard time believing it. How much money do we pay you to put that cooler in your boat, or to post Instagram photos, or what do we pay you to do that?
Nothing, and it really don't. I mean, and honestly, if a product that I use, period, if I don't use the product, I don't want it on my boat. First and foremost, I'm a guide. I'm not a billboard.
Right.
And you guys, y'all, and I like working with you guys as much as I do the coolers. I mean, the coolers are a great product, but also the people that work there. Oh. If I didn't get along with you guys, then I don't want the cooler either.
Well, so, we appreciate it. We think pretty highly of you too.
Well, just because you don't know me real well.
Well, and we've been saying this for a while at Icy Tech, and we mean it. We don't just let anybody into our bubble, especially at this point. Our growth has all been 100% organic from people like Benny, or the people of, Wicked Tuna, or, I mean, they're not using our products because we're paying them. We're using, and we wouldn't even offer them products if we didn't feel that they were a good fit for us. I don't want to pay somebody $100,000 a year to post staged photos. And I don't ever get staged photos from the people that we have, like Benny. And that's wildly important for us to keep it organic and true and real. Because that's who we are. We're all just real guys who are, we enjoy the outdoors, and that's the people that speak to us. And that was obviously very apparent when we met you at the ATA show, that's who you are too. But
well, you've got to be if you're the outdoor industry is kind of a small group, and if you don't be who you really are, somebody will see through it, and then the glass house you built was going to come falling down around you.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you can talk bad about somebody down the road, and eventually they're going to find out about it. There's no need in it.
Right.
Be who you are and be straight. And luckily, I've been fortunate enough to grow my business being who I am. And I've took some hits down the road for being who I am, but that's okay. Everybody still knows where I stand on things.
Right.
And I'm not going to change it.
Well, let's talk about this boat a little bit. You've got a real tiny little boat, P-Row style, right?
You're pretty much. My wife's about stupid for doing this. and every time I say, hey, I'm going to do something to the boat, she looks at me and with this, rolls her eyes and go, oh, my God, not again.
What do you got down there, Benny? What are you using? What are you taking people out on?
It's a 29 foot. It's 8 foot in the bottom. I'm not going to tell you how wide it is over the top because somebody will want to write me a ticket for it. But anyway, it's a little over with. But we had it works great you can put 5 or 6 people on it and literally run around on the boat.
Right.
And it doesn't rock or carry on or stuff like that. It works great to carry I get a lot of families that come out.
Sure.
The kids aren't real stable. Well, whenever they get over on this boat, they do pretty good.
Absolutely.
And it's not, we fish on a real big lake, so it's nice to have a big boat. And we did crowd it the other day. Finally, we put 12 guys on.
Yeah, I saw those pictures.
It was pretty big. I mean, it was pretty tight then, but that's a lot of dudes on it because they wasn't none of them little. So, but it's all troller. It's got XM radio, stuff like that. So I mean, but we go out there to have a good time.
Oh yeah.
We're not always going to shoot fish, but you can always go relax and have a good time. You're going to see things that if you've never been bow fishing, you will literally see things that you have never seen ever. No matter how many times you've been on the lake, until you've seen it at night under the lights, it's crazy.
That's what I tell people all the time, and it was one of the biggest reasons that I've helped other people start doing this, and it's one of the things that kept me going, especially in the early stages, because me and Benny took sort of 2 different routes in the bow fishing world. Benny went guide, that side of it. I stuck to the tournament side of it. But regardless, that if you can see in the water during the day, and I don't care what kind of sunglasses you have on, if you can see in the water 2 feet during the day, you're going to see 4 to 5 at night. And it's just, It's incredible to, like you said, see those things. I've seen really clear water on the Tennessee River one night scouting for, I think it was the Tennessee State Shoot back in 2014 or 15. And we rolled over a sunken duck blind that was in about 14 foot of water. And I mean, I could have still counted the amount of brush that was on it. And that's incredible stuff to see. Catfish swimming in and out of holes. And I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the neat thing about it, because you go, bass fishermen call me, hey man, let me know whenever you see bass in the shallows. Dude, I see them year round.
Always. Yep.
And they're like, come on. And then a diehard bass fisherman gets on the boat with us, and he gets to seeing all the fish and seeing how they're relating to structure and all, and they talk about how good it helps them.
Sure.
And I mean, a bow fisherman are. We were probably one of the biggest assets to a bass fisherman that there is on the lake. On
a few different assets, and I'm sure you can touch on those reasons. I'll have touch on those real quick, because there's a couple different ways.
Well, that's like I was talking to a couple bass fishermen the other day. I said, man, stop thinking about it. I'm going to use my home lake, Rayburn. 20 years ago was absolutely rolling in gar. I mean, it was seriously, people would tie monofilament and just troll behind a boat and catch gar, rip them up, roll, and catch it in there. Now you can't do that because of somebody was actually started taking some of the gar and stuff and it got more back to a balance. The biologist says it's balanced now, and that's because of the bow fishermen. Because for years, people were taking out the catfish, the crappie, and bass. Nobody was taking out the carp, the buffalo, and the gar, which are eating all the game fish. And so therefore it brings it back down to balance. Even the catch and release guys, we see a lot of bass floating around in the water.
Absolutely.
Dead.
Yep.
And it's not, I'm not throwing no rocks at them, but there's a certain amount of them die.
Yep.
So, there is some, some of those fish do get killed, especially on the ones that, like go to weigh-ins and stuff. But with you get guys like a bow fisherman, you take 2 or 3 bow fishermen on the lake, they, one cart can get into one nest of black bass and destroy it.
Yep. Absolutely.
You got one bow fisherman that comes in and takes out that one cart. Now you got a whole nest full of fry.
Right. And that's sort of been the philanthropic side of just bow fishing in general. That's sort of been, there's obviously, the further you dive into the bow fishing world, you find out about this sort of battle between some of the bow fishermen and some of the bass fishermen. And a lot of it comes from just not knowing. And look, man, an experienced bow fisherman can tell the difference, even though they're roughly shaped the same. You can tell the difference between a bass and a carp, if by the way it swims.
Absolutely.
And the good that it does, the good of taking out a lot of these, invasive and then just overpopulated species. I mean, there's a whole trickle-down effect that's helping the bass fishermen, tremendously. It's at the point up here with us right now with the Asian carp problem that we have, which I haven't heard a good answer on how to slow this war down. But, there's waterways that get to the point that some of these, rivers in Missouri and Tennessee and Kentucky that we're dealing with these Asian carp right now that, I don't know that the bow fishermen are necessarily slowing it down, but when it comes to populations like down there by you on San Rayburn, I mean, there's definitely an impact of what, bow fishing has done for the bass population and the crappie, and it's a whole trickle down thing. A lot of people just think that we're out there, and a lot of it is, I'm not going to lie, but that we're just out there having fun, being hooligans. And there is some of that, but man, it's just fun.
Well, if you're on a boat with a radio playing and lights going and hollering and screaming because you just shot a 2-foot long gar, if you're on the outside looking in, you would think, look at them idiots.
Right.
But if you were on that boat and seen what was going on, you think, man, they're having a good time, because what would be the difference in a bass fisherman would catch a 2-pound bass hollering and screaming? It would be the same thing.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we're all still fishermen.
Yep.
We're still fighting the same battle with the people that don't want us to fish.
Yep. We have to have the same exact license that a bass fisherman has. To bow fish, you need a fishing license. It's not a hunting license.
And it's everybody. And the problem with bass fishing and bow fishing too, I think, or fishing in general, people will watch. And I mean, Bill Dance has been on it for years, and we'll just use him for an example. Whenever he goes make a TV show, he don't show he does. He shows some of his antics down the road, but he doesn't show the hours that he may have spent trying to catch a fish.
Right.
He shows the 15 that he caught.
Yep.
Well, everybody sees the same thing on YouTube of everybody just never missing a fish. There's an art to it. That fish has got to be within 3 foot of the top of the water here, because that's really all the visibility we have is about 3 to 4 foot that you can reasonably hit. I took that 12-man group the other day. There was 607 shots fired.
In how long? How long of a time period?
We fished till 12. We fished till 1 o'clock. So we fished from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, about 6 hours. Just say 5 hours. 5 hours of fishing. 607 shots. Now, granted, some of these shots would be 4 or 5 shots at the same fish.
Sure.
These guys, sure. They put 33 fish on the boat.
Yeah,
607 shots fired.
But how many times have these guys been bow fishing prior to this trip?
Some of them had been, a couple of them had been 3 or 4 times, actually. And I had a buddy of mine on there that actually probably may have shot 7 or 8 of the fish himself, because he was helping me run the boat. But other than that, none of these guys had been,
Right.
And so, they were all new. And I mean, man, whenever a 2-foot gar would come on the boat because one of them hit it, one of the guys on the boat was nicknamed Jalapeno because I couldn't remember his dadgum name. So I mean, short dude, it fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he fell in love with it. I mean, he just thought that was cool. But I mean, he hit a couple fish, and dude, you couldn't have. You'd heard him all the way across Sam Rayburn hollering and screaming.
Yep.
It's just tickles, But people that's where you start learning to pass it down.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, as a deer hunter, you don't. If you've been deer hunting for 10 years, you don't go shoot the little forked horn that first thing comes to the feeder. You're waiting on the big deer,
right?
And you're passing it on to somebody else.
Yep.
Because if we're not passing it on to somebody else, it's going to die.
Yes, it will.
And that's all there is to it. I mean, I don't care if it's bow fishing, deer hunting, whatever you're doing. If you truly love it, you better take somebody else. And that's kind of the reason why I like guiding.
Right.
You're always taking, me and you, I've never shot a tournament ever in my life. Never have. Not even a $10 tournament. I've never have shot one. Don't have nothing against it. Just never have done it. I'm not fishing all night. I'm not going to be up till 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just don't want to do it. But I've taken a whole lot of people and I've shot a lot of fish. But the excitement and joy of watching somebody shoot a 3-foot gar, the thing that me and you will drive past and just not shoot it.
Right.
Because we're looking for that 12-point buck or that 6-foot plus gator gar or that 50-pound buffalo. To watch them eyes light up, even if they miss it, that's fun.
Yep.
And if you're a true sportsman, that's the kind of stuff everybody needs to try to enjoy.
Absolutely.
And that's the part I like about guiding. It's taking somebody to get on the boat and go, hey man, I don't know a thing about what I'm doing. I go, thank you.
Right.
That's all I need to know is, somebody looking for some help. Shoot, man, we can put them on some fish.
I don't know if it's been your experience, but my experience in the whole teaching bow fishing game, my favorite person to teach is somebody who has never held a bow before versus the guy who 3D shoots or is an avid deer hunter, because bow fishing is so different. Yeah, you're using the same tool, but you're not shooting, you're not aiming at what you're trying to hit. And we don't need to get into that here. There's plenty of videos out there teaching people how to do that, but for many reasons, it is a lot easier to teach somebody who's just never held a bow before, that doesn't have that instinctual ability just to point it at what you're shooting at. But I help run a nonprofit. I run the bow fishing side of it for them, where we take soldiers out. And man, out of all of the trips, the hundreds of times I've been on a boat in my life, tournament or just fun fishing, man, the most fun is seeing these guys' eyes light up. These grown men who are all special operators in whatever their branches, but watch these grown men turn into children when they shoot their first fish. It's just, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, if that doesn't make you smile, we're just different people.
Right. And that's the kind of the neat thing about watching. Two different things I thought about one, I had a couple come with me. There was some other people on the boat. Had a couple come with me on the boat that the guy told me, I said, hey, I'll show you how to do this right here. And he said, oh, don't worry about it. I know how to shoot a bow. I've been deer hunting my whole life. The thought went through my mind was, look, dude, is the deer underwater, and have you got a fiberglass arrow with a string attached to it? I didn't say that because, you got to be kind of professional.
Right.
Okay. His wife looks at me and goes, I don't know. I don't know nothing about this. That's what she bluntly said. And she said, I want all the help you can get me. 5 fish into this the night, it's 5-0 because they had a competition that he started. And, he's shooting over everything. I told him, I said, hey, man, you're perfectly consistent. You shot over everything. and she is smoking them. She's done hit, like I said, 5 fish. And I asked him, I said, "You about ready for that tutor in the house?" He got where he wanted to listen, but it is entirely different. And you are exactly right. I've carried some vets on our boat before. I've carried some that don't have but one arm. I've carried some that were in a wheelchair, because that's the good thing about having that boat of mine. I love to carry people in a wheelchair. Right. I mean, just because it's got to be the right person. But, whenever you see them people that have operated some major machinery, to put it mildly, in their past, and that arrow hits that first fish, and they're like a school girl. Not a school kid. They are like a school girl.
Absolutely.
Giddy with excitement. And that's cool. That is a lot of fun. And it does. It makes you feel good like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a short break here, listen to a couple sponsors, and when we come back, we'll hit the second part of this interview with you, brother, and get a little bit deeper.
Okay, that'll work.
You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Get him! Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntingdon, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
Hey guys, welcome back to the lodge. Still here with Benny, talking about BT Outdoors and everything that they do down there. Benny, let's switch this up a little bit. We all know why we do, why we know the fun parts of this bow fishing thing. That it's pretty easy to see just from watching a short video of bow fishing how it could be attractive. But what is it that really turned you on to making this a profession? What about it is it?
As we kind of spoke about a little bit earlier about the simple fact of somebody else, especially kids or whatever, somebody, "Hey man, will you take me bow fishing?" And then before long, I was taking a bunch of people bow fishing, and it was, and it just kind of turned into it. And then I started, trying to get better gear and, take, and do a better job. And the biggest thing about it was, just like you grow anything, but the biggest and still the single best reason is the simple fact that whenever somebody does something for the first time, their eyes always light up. And it's real cool to take somebody out to do something. Because most people understand deer hunting or, but they don't understand a whole lot about pheasant hunting.
Sure.
Bow fishing's the same way. No offense to nobody that shoots pheasant or grouse or something like that. Bow fishing is off the beaten path. And people are doing it right in somebody else's backyard, and all they see is the bright lights looking at them.
Yep.
Well, whenever they get behind the bright lights and they see what the bright lights are looking at, it's just like that, man, I never had no idea. What is that right there? And we'll see 1,000 gizzard shad a night. And everybody goes, what is that? I mean, they put some exclamation points with it, And this is people that have literally grew up on the lake and didn't know what that was.
Right.
Absolutely. You don't
Absolutely.
see them in the daytime. You just don't. And that's what got me attracted into bow fishing. And then I, took some veterans, and that got, which all that's shut down due to COVID. We hadn't been able to do anything with that. And I kind of missed that. But I had a trip with September the 11th. And I told Kendra, I told my wife, I said, that's it. After that, I'm shutting my boat down and I'm gearing it up to go guiding. Whenever I come home from those guys with just their smile, dude, give you a big old hug, tell you thank you, all that. That's what made me want to do it even more.
There's a lot of people that don't know that, through all of this COVID stuff, which has affected, literally everybody and everything.
Right.
Almost all of these nonprofits had to go on hold. All of them. Most of them right now, they're needing money. They're needing support because, their events have been canceled. Their fundraisers have been canceled. Everything. So you're not the only one sort of, I guess, without a better term, without a ship right now to sail because, there's just, there's nothing going on. You just can't. And we all understand that.
The biggest ones that are biggest sufferers in what I see is the vets are still out there suffering, for a lack of a better way to put it, money or no money, they're still going through their hell that they would go through anyway.
Right.
And that's the ones that are really, that's the part that really hurts.
Absolutely.
And in that aspect.
How long have you been doing this, Benny? How long has the guide business been around?
The guiding probably about 6 years. I've been, since it's probably going on 7 now. This September should be 7. I got the new boat, showed up November the 17th, due to Hurricane Harvey. My last boat, didn't survive that. So, that's a whole nother, that was a changing point in my life anyway.
Right.
This new boat showed up in 2017 in November, and before that we was using our other boat, a 27 foot. So, because it got wrecked out in Hurricane Harvey, which I should have been wrecked out myself. It was supposed to have, I ended up getting pinned underneath my boat and sucked under the water, and I literally fought to the point that I was exhausted. Put my hands above my head and said, God, please do not let me die like this. I do not want to drown. Please do not let me die. Within that very instant, a 27-foot boat moves, and I come out of the water from the waist up.
That's incredible. Well, what were you're a little bit north of where that was, so we'll get it. I was down there too for it, but what were you doing down there?
They'd got 27. There was 25 people stranded on a rooftop. The boat that I had, they couldn't get a helicopter in there. The boat that I had was big enough to get in there. And we just went in a bad spot at night, had no way of seeing the current. And whenever we shoved that last tree down, that's whenever we went under a 4-lane highway, shoved me right underneath a bridge. So that's what we were down there. And there was bow fishermen all over the place down there.
Yep.
And the funny thing about it is, whenever you look at a lot of those rescue guys that are down there helping out, they're the same guys that have got the lights turned on at night. They're the same guys that are out there trying to bring people in.
Yep.
They're just, and it's no offense to anybody else. We just got the boats that are designed to do that kind of stuff.
And that's the thing. And that's what people, these aren't just, tiny little John boats. Sometimes they are, but right. The big serious bow fishermen, they have boats that are specifically designed to carry a load. There's tournaments that you go to, especially if you're on the numbers side, you may need a boat that can handle 4,000 pounds of fish and then also be able to run through 3 inches of water. And right. 4 guys. And these boats are massive, massive boats, whether it's, like your big troller boat or whether it's some of these big kicker boats or air boats. They're specifically designed to haul this weight. And we got the phone call. Actually, it was the same day of your accident. Me and some friends were on our way down from Tennessee and Missouri. We headed down to help out with the relief effort. And we were down there for about 7 days helping, pull people out and stuff. But, that network of bow fishing, I'm sure that there's networks and everything. I can speak sort of to my network through the veteran community of me being in, but it's very similar to this sort of bow fishing brotherhood of, I don't remember how many, specifically I was running with an airboat group, but I bet there were 25 boats with us. And again, these boats are specifically designed to haul this weight of bringing these people in and out. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible event that happened. But man, to see everybody rally together from your average person to these tournament fishermen to whoever, see everybody rally together to help the common good. It's definitely something that America needs and sometimes has, but I mean, definitely needs to reflect back on those times.
Absolutely.
So
if people will just stop, so many times everybody's trying to get to the same place. If they would just stop and look and listen and go, hey, how can I help you up instead of kicking you down? That makes a lot of difference. And that's what the bow fishermen down there were doing. They were trying to help people up. And, by all accounts, I should have died. There's there ain't but one reason why I'm standing here talking to you at all, and that's through the grace of God. Believe that with everything I got. And you will never, I got my leg broken 4 places. I should have been dead. It took them 16 hours to get me to the hospital. I rode in a body bag in the back of a deuce-and-a-half truck. It was a whole big, long story. But wasn't my time to go.
Well, and I've never asked you this question, but I know you well enough to know sort of what the answer of this is. Benny, would you do it all again?
Absolutely. The only thing that I would hesitate to do is because of my wife. The one thing that she, and I hate this part more than anything. My wife, all she knew for about 4 hours was that Benny and Chris sunk the boat, and Benny was waiting on a life flight. She said her only consolation was life flight don't pick up dead people.
Right.
If I could change one thing, that would be it. Because that day made my life so much better. You will never ever hear me say that was the worst day of my life. Now I still walk with a limp, I still hurt, but I learned a lot about myself and about who I need to be because of it. And in the bow fishing community, talking about it being tight knit, they found out what happened to me. They already knew I had an established guide service. Man, there were people calling me and going, "Hey, what can we do to help?" People, companies like you, or with Icy Tech, or people that built my boat, with Circle H airboats. Just different groups were reaching back to me whenever they heard I was fixing to rebuild my boat, because they knew I was trying to do the right thing, and they knew I was down there for the right reason. We didn't have no TV cameras with us. Didn't want none. Still to this day wouldn't take none with me.
Right.
Because it's not about that. It's about trying to help 25 people off a rooftop.
Right. And at the time, I bet you weren't thinking about the fact that there was even a possibility you could have been drug under that bridge. You just knew your mission. You knew what you were trying to do. You didn't make a phone call before it saying, "Hey, Mama, this could get hairy." I bet that you just put your head down and drove through. Would be my guess.
Hey, well, and that's exactly what happened. Whenever I didn't know anything was going to go wrong, this was at night. That's one reason why we were out there, is at night. And whenever I shoved that last willow tree down, and it grabbed the front of that boat and slammed it into that bridge, and that's whenever I knew this is fixing to get real bad real quick. And before I could get that thought out of my head, a 27-foot boat was going underneath the bridge. It happened that quick.
That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I got pinned up underneath that tree. And like I said, though, you won't ever hear me say it's a bad day, because I'm thankful for who I am and where I am. Some people may not be happy that I've come out from underneath there, but I'm pretty happy about it.
Well, and from my angle of it, when we got down there, we drove down August 28th, got down there on my birthday, the 29th, and met up with a whole bunch of boats. And what was sort of crazy about it was the group I was with was all the tournament fishermen. And it was the guys who you don't look at weigh-in and that, you know, it's all usually in good spirit, but you know that your enemies in the sport, the people that you're always trying to beat. But for that week I was down there was none of that. I saw people down there talking that I bet hadn't talked in 5 years because of something that happened on the tournament trail. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Just, I mean, we had boats with us that were from Missouri, Wisconsin. I know William Larson came down with his boat from North Dakota. I mean, you're talking about people that came a long way, didn't get paid, dragging those big airboats, you know, 1,000 miles or whatever the fuel is on that, then had to pay the fuel in their boats, and most of them got no recognition, didn't do it for the recognition, and like you, went into a lot of, you know, hairier situations with not thinking about their own safety. It was you know, completing the mission and getting these people out that are now trapped. You know, and we all have a ton of stories about, you know, bad things that we saw down there. And, you know, I know Tommy Wood's boat took water over the nose at one point, and, you know, a lot of things happened. But I think for the most part, I think we'd all would have done it again.
Oh, absolutely. And if you wouldn't do it again, you're down there for the wrong reason.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I mean, if you're not down there to help people, if you're down there, I mean, you know, if you're down there and posing up in front of TV cameras and stuff like that, you know, a lot of them airboats would turn around and blow them TV cameras away from them because they just didn't want them around them.
Yep.
They weren't trying to be jerks. They didn't want to be filmed.
Yep.
They didn't want any recognition. They didn't want people knowing. They just wanted to go down there and help somebody out. You know, if we can help, call us. You know.
I know in the area that we were in, we were around the Beaumont, Port Arthur area down there, and they put that curfew in because of all the rioting and looting going on during it. And we had to fight real hard to get the authorities to understand that these boats that we brought down there are specifically built for nighttime operation. And there's not vessels on the water that are equipped better than we are. And we eventually did get some clearance to be able to do some things at night. But, man, it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. I can only imagine for you. You know, obviously we're, you know, grateful that you're still around to tell the story. But now you sort of look at the world, you look at the world just a little bit different now. And
I'll tell anybody that they think they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, you better think again. I got one leg that's half an inch longer than the other one, and a 19-inch rod in my leg to prove the fact that I'm not 10 foot tall and bulletproof. The next red light you come to could be your last red light. And, you know, and I've also told everybody that gets on my boat, if you ain't got your heart right, God, whenever that time comes, you'll be busting the gates of hell wide open because it'll be too late.
Absolutely.
And that's the one thing that I got out of Hurricane Harvey that I can't say that was the worst day of my life. It's probably the best. And like I said, I still walk with a limp, still hurt, but that's okay. I'm good with that. I'll take it because I come out with it so much more. And I got friends out of it that happened in 2017. And I've got friends right now that still call me, you know, I still hear from them a couple times, you know, 2 or 3 times a month if we're not fishing together and stuff like that have just really been blessed to find some good, honest people. And it's like that through all the fishing communities and hunting. If you just stop long enough, put your differences aside, and remember you're all trying to go the same way. And that's be who you are. Don't try to be what somebody else wants you to be.
Exactly.
Be who you are. People will either, 90% of the time, if you're trying to be who you really are, you're an honest and straight up person. People will like honest and straight up. They may rub them the wrong way, but eventually they learn, hey, I kind of like that guy.
Right.
I didn't at first, you know. I mean, some people still don't like me. But they're not going to say they don't like me because I done them wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
They may not like the way I told them something. I'm okay with that as long as I told them the truth. You know. Mm-hmm. And that's some of the people that I met from down there that I didn't know that until those times happened.
Sure.
It was pretty neat.
Well, Benny, how do people find you? If they want to look you up, they want to see what you have to offer, if they even want to, if they want to get a hold of you to maybe go out fishing, how do they do that?
The best way to get a hold of me is through Instagram. So BT Outdoors Bow Fishing. It would be actually BT Outdoors _ bow fishing. Be a picture with a big green boat. That way you kind of get some ideas of what we do, what we look like. Same way on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We don't do a whole lot with, and we're working on a new website. And the phone number is there through Instagram. That's usually the best way to do it is through Instagram. You get ready to come to East Texas and go bow fishing, we'll take you. It's pretty cheap, and it's the families enjoy it. So
beautiful,
and that's a big thing for me. I love taking the kids. Whole family groups is even better because then the families get something that they can do for. Hey, you remember when we done that?
Right.
And we get a lot of repeat business. Families want to come back.
Sure.
And that's the cool part.
Well, Benny, this is sort of our patented question at the end of all of our interviews. And we're going to throw it to you too. If you had one bit of advice, whether that be to your 18-year-old self or just to somebody who's down and just needs maybe a brighter outlook on life to turn things around, what is that little piece of advice that you give somebody?
No matter how bad things are, they can be worse. And I learned that one time. I thought I was having a bad day and just drove by somebody walking down the side of the road. And no offense to somebody that's just walking, but at least I had a vehicle, at least I had a house, and things could be worse, no matter what.
Absolutely.
And it will get better if you work at it, period.
Beautiful.
That's what I told my kids a bunch.
Yeah.
Well,
beautiful, brother, man. I really appreciate your time. We love you, obviously, here at IC Tech and at Back to the Lodge here, doing great things. We're definitely going to have you on again, hopefully in studio.
Okay.
And
come up here and go boat fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I
can do that. Get on somebody else's boat.
I can make it happen, brother. Not an issue. Well, Benny. Well, Benny, thank you so much for everything. And after a quick moment from our sponsors here, we'll be right back to the lodge. Thank you.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
When you purchase an IC Tech cooler, not only are you getting the best and original rotomold cooler for your barbecue, your kid's graduation party, or maybe even the boat, but your proceeds from that purchase go on to help Gold Star families receive grief counseling retreats so they can heal and get a little piece of their heart back. So they can have the same quality of life that we share. IC Tech, USA.
100.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge. Benny Elliott, dude. I mean, the guy's he's out there slaying it, man.
I love the guy, man. I'm telling you, I love the guy. And I think it came through in that interview just how genuine of a person he is.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of genuine, good job on hosting the interview.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What the hell was that noise?
I don't know.
So, if you haven't picked this up by now, and Nick's starting to do it too, which is driving me nuts. You have this thing, like yes and no, like in Italy, when people say no, though, they kind of snap their tongue against the roof of their mouth. When Matt wants to say no, he goes, But when he says yes, he goes, And I can't tell the difference between them half the time.
You'll learn.
And Nick has that, I can't do it as deep as you do. There you go. Lady killer. I won't. Never mind. There's another joke I was going to throw in there.
Mr. Glamour shot himself.
There I am doing it again.
That was that supposed to be for like jewel case or for promotion on your EP? There's that noise again.
Yeah. But that was like I don't know how to answer this question.
You got to go to Instagram. Check out Nick Conder Music, Conder.
Oh.
And he looks like a mini Luke Bryan or something.
I mean, that picture, he is super pretty. And when you see the picture, that's the only word you can really use to describe it.
You know,
pretty.
You know what's funny about this? That you just said that the phrase "he looks so pretty." So on the way over here to do the show tonight, me and my fiance were on the phone, and I was like, "You'll never guess what Patrick just told me," and she was like, "What?" That he said that you're so pretty. I mean, yes, I know Matt said it, but
this is really starting to sound bad. Oh, she's a hoot. That will be the day Matt beat me to it. So, but Matt has no shame.
No, 0.
So what do we got coming up? So we wrapped it with Benny. We're coming up to about the 8:30 mark. We didn't have any winner for the 120 quart. Still not sure I want to pull that trigger yet.
Okay.
But
what do you want to do?
Maybe giveaway. I'm in a good mood today.
Dude, you must be. I mean, this is what, third one?
I'm just glad it's not me or you, Nick. I'm just glad that I can deflect this one now.
I mean, I got my notes. You know, we got 2 of them going out in the morning. Man, I'm just in a good mood today. I swear I like won the lottery or something this morning. I'm just in a great mood.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, we can. Matt just signaled to me.
No, I didn't. This is all Patrick's idea.
No. You say no to me. So let's preface this.
Okay.
So, and this is the best part because this is a gender neutral gift. We can do. So we have apparel, and so long story short, I think we talked about this in episode 1 a couple weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. Jeez. Anyways, when we first got apparel in, everybody wanted like an Icy Tech shirt, and we got some really good quality shirts. And like Matt said, we're very picky about who we work with and whatnot. Well, the quality, it's a blend shirt, cotton blend. I think they call it
tri-blend, I believe.
Tri-blend, yeah. So they're real soft, they're real comfortable, and they don't fade. They're great shirts. Anyways, so we got they started coming in as we're ordering them. We don't manufacture shirts. We work with another vendor that manufactures shirts. So the shirts start coming in, and we're like, man, these t-shirts are really cool. They turned out really great, exactly what we envisioned, and then some. And then the ladies' tank tops came in. And, you know, it was easy for us to take pictures of the t-shirts and say, okay, we can put this up on our store, on the website. Simple. But we didn't have anybody to model the ladies' tank tops.
Here we go.
So Matt comes walking in the door. Hey, buddy, we need you to do us a favor. No shame.
Don't care.
That picture is still on Facebook, and it is not coming down.
Well, we've seen it on everything from, what are the places that we've seen that picture now of me and a women's racer back?
It's been on FoxNews.com. It's been on AccuWeather. It's been on USA Today.
Oh, gosh.
There was a period of time where, especially like if your phone, you know, everybody knows, you know, your phone knows you better than you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you're looking for something, which I obviously pay attention to the cooler industry. So Icy Tech ads pop up quite often. And there was a period of time where I'm sending Matt screenshots and I'm like, hey man, I'm reading the local election results and there's you in a ladies racerback tank top.
And it was a pink one.
Yeah.
And we intentionally, I wear a large t-shirt is what I wear, but we chose a small.
No, I think we started with small.
And I just couldn't fit it.
No. We started with extra small.
Yeah.
We had an extra small. Matt's like, I'm going to make that work. There was no way he was getting an arm in that thing. And then we went to a small, maybe a medium.
I think it was a small because that thing is painted on.
Yeah, it did look like body paint by the time he had that. But funny enough, we sold tank tops off that ad with Matt wearing, and women did buy them. It wasn't guys buying them. So
super awkward photo too of me wearing a hat a little low, so you don't really see my eyes. Beard, and my beard was bigger than it is now.
We know it's you.
My whole sleeve is in that picture. So like it's a very awkward. It's supposed to have been a joke until we got a better picture of the.
No, we ran it. We used it for ads. We actually put money in ad spend with Matt in the racerback tank top, and it's a great tank top. All the ladies do love them. So here's what we'll do. It's winner's choice, t-shirt or tank top. It's still summer, so it's your choice. If you want to win a t-shirt, all you got to do is give us a call, 866-708-FARM. That's 866-708-3276. We'll go with the 10th caller. I think that's a fair number again.
Yeah.
So get yourself a shirt, 866-708-FARM. You're listening to Back to the Lodge, 100.9 The Farm. We'll be right back.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntington, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran-owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon. We built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. America Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
100.9 The Farm. We are still back to the lodge.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Hey, so congratulations to George from Oak Creek, Wisconsin, who won a t-shirt. Very cool. 10th caller. But yeah, so this is still the giveaway show.
It really kind of is.
Somebody slap me. Anyways, there's some serious things I want to talk about real quick. If you're a disabled veteran, especially locally here in West Tennessee, or you know a disabled veteran here in West Tennessee, please do us a favor and send us a message at Back to the Lodge on Facebook. We're actually working with a couple groups here locally to put together some hunts for some disabled veterans. You know, if we have a huge reach, you know, we're going to obviously get as many as we can. We probably won't be able to guarantee everybody. But yeah, if you know a disabled veteran somewhere locally here in West Tennessee, we'd really like you to reach out to us. We're working with a couple great organizations to get disabled veterans back into the outdoors for this deer season coming up.
Yep.
And one of those organizations is going to do a full expense paid, tags and all, to get someone out hunting at their lodge. So
nice. Please
message us. Let us know if you know somebody. We have our friends. We do take care of them on the regular.
Yep.
So if you know us personally, you're pretty much already taken care of. We've been working with you. But this is for new folks. So please reach out to us. You can email us. Well, no, message us on Facebook. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us.
Yep.
So we can get that information.
And look, guys, these aren't just simple trips for these guys. These are going to be some really, really, really cool experiences.
Yeah. Sitting around, I mean, not just during the hunt, but I mean, sitting around the fire, the camaraderie. Yep. We're going to have a great time. And we're going to join you. So we're going to be there to help you and make sure that you have the best experience you could possibly have. And we're very grateful for the organizations that are putting this together. I don't want to announce them yet.
Yeah, not yet.
I don't want them to get bombarded. But we're very grateful to work with the two organizations we're working with to put this on. Also, Back to the Lodge is brought to you by our sponsors at Mossy Oak, America Bourbon, and Higdon Outdoors. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of Back to the Lodge, you can also message us or go to our website, backtothelodge.com, scroll down, there's a contact form in there. We're being listened to, obviously, all over the country at this point.
Yep.
We've got Albany, Georgia, Tennessee, and Wisconsin just today in prizes.
Well, just the analytics from the website
of
who's been listening. It's been crazy. The growth is... Look, man, I just feel like I'm a dude that's still sitting in this chair. Just, 3 weeks ago we started this.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we're getting messages
Let's give this a go.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to see how this growth has happened. So
definitely. But we have about 20 minutes left. So let's do another t-shirt. I know.
Goodness.
Let's do another
He's in a
t-shirt.
great mood.
I think the title of this one's going to be Patrick is Actually Santa.
I do have the beard. I just got to get more white in there.
There's some white in there.
Yeah. It's coming. You're next, buddy. You're next in the age line here. So let's do another t-shirt. Okay. And I guess we have to preface. We did say this last week, so we'll say it again this week. If you are related to us, had more than 2 bears with us, or raised us,
Right.
because we all know the blooper last week.
Right.
If you weren't tuned in last week, I don't remember what color we're taking, 10 or 15
I
or
don't
something
know.
like that. And my father called in, and it's like, oh, thanks, you just punked us. We got to get to the next caller because we have a limited amount of time to do that. So we drop the call, go to the next caller, and it's Matt's dad.
One after another. Yeah.
It's like, wow, how'd that work? So it totally screwed up that entire drawing, and we had to do it over again. So anyways, we'll give away another t-shirt. Your choice, winner's choice, t-shirt or tank top. We're going to do that. Then when we come back, we'll have the second drawing of the episode to see who wins the $400 120 quart Icy Tech cooler. So give us a call if you want to win a t-shirt. The lines are open, yes? Mm-hmm. Lines are open. 866-708-FARM. That's 866-708-3276. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
When you purchase an Icy Tech cooler, not only are you getting the best and original Rotomold cooler for your barbecue, your kid's graduation party, or maybe even the boat, but your proceeds from that purchase go on to help Gold Star families receive grief counseling retreats so they can heal and get a little piece of their heart back. So they can have the same quality of life that we share. Icy Tech, USA.
Sitting on this bar stool again, wondering if you knew that I loved you back then. Pictures of you on my phone. Never have I ever felt so alone. People tell me I should let you go, but there's one thing that they don't know. I took you out on your first date. I was running so late. We went to 8 across town, and I spilled my tea, and you laughed at me, and I kissed you in that candlelight. Yeah, I'm just sipping on memories tonight. I was nervous on our wedding day. Didn't know if your daddy would give you away. You were the most beautiful bride. We said our vows and then we cried. People thought that I should have let you go, but there's one thing that they don't know. I took you dancing one night in that neon light. I spun you round and around. I asked you on one knee to spend forever with me, and I saw the love in your eyes. just you and me and our 3 girls. Since you've gone, life has been rough, but I know you're here looking down on us. Staring at this field of stone, you're reigning high with him on his throne. Lord knows that I miss you. And all of the things we used to do. People tell me I should let you go, but there's one thing that they don't know. The doctors came by, there were tears from my eyes. You wouldn't make it through the night. I stood by you in bed, and I kissed your sweet head, and then we said goodbye. I'm just sipping on memories tonight. If you were here by my side, we'd be sipping on memories tonight.
.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge. So congratulations to Alexis from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Not too far from where Rachel's from. Good old Bardstown, bourbon capital.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that was for the tank top on the choice on that one. And we got the number generator. Let me go back up because the screen went back to screensaver. All right. So the moment most people have been waiting for is for the 120-quart Icy Tech cooler.
$400 cooler.
Uh-huh. So they liked, they shared, and they followed. And they have 5 minutes to call us at 866-708-3276 or send us a message on Facebook Messenger so we know it's you. That's the best way to confirm. So Jasmine Cook, you got 5 minutes to win yourself a cooler. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. Get him. Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntington, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
100.9 The Farm. And we're in small town USA.
I would say that's right. Absolutely.
Great song. Hey, we had a couple inquiries, and we want to talk about this real quick. Was Sipping on Memories.
Oh, man.
If you like that song, guess who wrote it?
That would be me.
He wrote it, but who sang it?
Me.
Oh. No, it's a great song.
No, it's definitely one of your top songs, man.
Oh, it's awesome. The story is awesome. And
Well, I appreciate that.
It's a great song. So yeah, we had people asking. Yes, it's on iTunes. Yes, it's on Spotify. Yes, it's on
all digital stores.
platforms.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Nick and Nick's sadder song.
Yeah,
You do have a lot of sad songs, but they're good.
What?
I like it.
Well, see, now you're seeing Nick's toolbox here. He's good at pushing buttons. He's got beautiful or pretty pictures. And he can sing and he can write. I mean, if you weren't about to be married.
I seen him play the piano today too.
What?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You just hit a couple buttons again?
He hits those buttons pretty quick. I'll put it. I'm gonna upload it on our Facebook.
Did you record it?
Yeah, I recorded it. He didn't know I recorded it.
I sure didn't.
He didn't say anything bad, but it was pretty cool. After dinner, he's like, "Oh, let me take a stab at it." Jumped on the Wurlitzer and just tore it up. It was pretty cool. But you know what's not cool?
Well, it's not cool for her.
No.
But for everybody else.
We did not have a winner.
Nope.
On the 120 quart cooler. So I wrote the name down, then I lost it.
You remember the name, Nick?
Jasmine Cook.
Oh, there you go. So unfortunately, Jasmine wasn't listening, or maybe her phone died. But the cooler will carry over to next week. And we are not announcing who's on next week.
Nope.
Until the weekend. Because there's some contract stuff we got to work out.
Right.
But we're going to be excited to have them on next week's show. But anyways, yeah. So Nick is the star of Sipping on Memories. And, oh man, he's going to throw something at me.
I bet it. Everything
Don't tell me.
Everything I just looked
there
at.
you go. I was going to say, don't tell me. Don't tell me. That's the name of the song. Great song.
The other one, yeah.
So hopefully,
But, more to that, as far as like the songs being a little mid-tempo / slow and sad. I've been working on some music, and I've got some pretty upbeat stuff coming.
There's that one that we've heard the little
That's
bit to, and I mean, I'm excited about that one. It's a good one.
We got to get you cut. But here's the deal. I don't care how big you ever get in the country music space.
Okay.
You're still working this board.
Yeah, remember where you came from, Nick.
I'm in, man.
Pay homage.
Yeah.
Or homage, however you want to say it.
Oh.
But anyways, until next week, I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Nick.
And we are back to the lodge. We'll see you next week here on 100.9 The Farm or on backtothelodge.com. So long.
Hey guys, Nick here from Back to the Lodge. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and click the notification bell so you can be notified when our next show gets uploaded. And if you want to listen live, don't forget to tune in each Wednesday night from 6 to 9 Central. You can go to our website at backtothelodge.com, click the Listen Now button, and you'll be back to the lodge. The link to our website is down below in the description, backtothelodge.com. Until next time, we'll see you next week. Back to the Lodge.